So what does it mean to be living the life of the 5D human? Right now, a tremendous infusion of higher dimensional energy is downloading onto the planet, which we can take advantage from and integrate, channel into our lives. That possibility exists for more and more people now awakening to the divine flow. But there's some key things that we really must pay attention to if we're to benefit from that and harness the energy. Crucially, we must let go as much as possible of the requirement, the need for fixed intention by the ego, fixed intention to do something or setting your intentions to be a particular way. This is problematic because what you're doing is cutting across the flow itself. The flow is spontaneous. It just emerges from the source and flows like a stream down the side of a mountain. So a crucial thing is to be preparing yourself and opening yourself up to not knowing. It's an uncomfortable place to be.
What is that then going on inside now?
Bit of anxiety. It's always been an anxiety for me speaking in the group.
Right.
It would always come up, and I always struggle to take a pause. I always feel that.
You always feel?
I always feel that
right.
Anxiety, but I go through that.
You go through
kind
it?
Of, yeah.
How do you go through it?
I just do it anyway.
Okay.
Just
do you know how? What's the internal process that you use? Do you know?
It's some kind of strength. It just like says, okay, I'm feeling that. Anxiety. I could feel it coming up with a hit in here.
Okay.
Every time I spoke. But just kind of going through that.
Especially when tension or intensity increases, then there's a closing down and a need to do something in a particular way.
My reflection, what I'm hearing, is that previously, when something emotionally soulful is getting expressed, and on the other side of anxiety is vulnerability, or excitement because something is going to happen. So it's both, and then the being can shut down because of not wanting to be exposed to such vulnerability.
We've got to work to resist that, to open into that, to open the space.
So as we do that, the causal body opens, the 4D field unravels, unwinds, but not. It lets off steam, unravels itself. Now it's coming into. Yeah.
So as you can find that stillness, that relaxation, but it's not a relaxation which is accepting anything goes.
What I'm practicing and exploring, just being in that vulnerability,
Right.
and being around, well, whatever is, and just still staying here, so it doesn't kind of like a wind take over me. Or
Yeah.
There's an active attention. You're becoming ultra aware of feelings, senses, movement, flow.
Yeah, just kind of staying with it. I'm not like, not pushing it away, but just I feel the anxiety, but I keep speaking.
And that flow feeling is coming through your chakras and then into the third eye. Now, with active attention, the third eye is drawn to situations, circumstances externally, whether that be in nature or people around you. And what's happening is the being is looking for reflections of itself, of authentic beingness.
You have this experience, you move in a certain direction, and active awareness stops you at a point, and you're looking and you're feeling, you're sensing, and something just then triggers. And that being the treasure. So it could be, call of a bird, or the steam train, or whatever, or a plane going overhead, and that just stimulating, activating the inquiry. It's like you're embodying that. And then that creates the landscape in a different way. So now it might move differently, or the next step happens and it takes you another way and you see something else. So it becomes like a treasure hunt. Isn't that priceless though? When you live from that, it's not just spasmodic, but when you live from it, I mean, you couldn't put a price on it. You couldn't put a price on it.
And as you see these reflections, maybe it's in the smile of another person, or it's in nature, or it's in the sun shining through the clouds. When you see these signs, it's activating authentic beingness within you. And it's a case of then attuning that as much as you possibly can and getting the real feeling of what it's like to be this authentic self.
The orientation of our being needs to change because we're so configured and used to looking for an outcome, looking for an answer. Whereas this is all about the question, show me, or a statement. And then witnessing what gets reflected.
And coming from that, as opposed to what have I got to do now? If I'm allowing that authentic beingness to come through, and that's really on the plane of the sixth density, and that resonance is very strong right now. If I'm allowing that to come in, then what's going to happen is this consciousness is going to cascade into the 5D through the throat chakra. That's going to increase my ability to perceive signs and synchronicity, sacred geometry, and symbology, which is already starting to weave the flow together and start to create situations and circumstances.
All out, inwardly, show me. All on the universe. It's getting freaky, right? It's getting freaky.
At this point, the energy is now channeling into the 4D through the heart chakra, and by the law of attraction, it's pulling in other people, situations, it's weaving those, building that landscape, which is offering the possibility of the actualization of this flow as a physical experience. It'll also include karma that you might have, that you've then got to work through and unravel.
I was going to ask you how you do it, but you already started doing it. Just right down here.
Yeah, it just feels so like a bit was a bit of nauseous, kind of.
Yeah, well, it will do because you're directly confronting that fixed programming, mental programming, which has held in place a particular identity. As soon as you start to challenge that, you're going to feel nauseous because you're opening that up and you're releasing dense energy. Right?
Yeah.
So the energy is wrapped up in that constriction, that programming, locked in place. When you start challenging it, that's why it feels nauseous.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's releasing.
Yeah. It's there. I accept that it's going to be there until it processes out.
Well, you can help
Anxiety.
it. You can help it come out of the solar plexus.
I don't feel that much anxiety now.
Cool.
So crucially, not to override any negative experiences that you might judge or perceive, because they're offering reflections of where you might get attached, where you might close down, where you might go into judgment over another or particular circumstances. What are you attached to? Can you work to unravel that, open through it, break it down?
The right place is in that emotional reactivity to all of this.
I can feel this
Yeah,
push-pull.
yeah, yeah. So there it is. It's in that where a decision is made. And I say a decision, the decision isn't even a decision at an intellectual level. It's like you're pushing and pulling, and at some point you say, bloody hell, you know what? I've had enough of this. I've had enough. Wow. It doesn't go anywhere. And then it's, you know, and then it hits you, and then it's unraveling, and then it's click, yes, this is me. Now I don't care.
If you can do that, to the extent that you can do that, then the energy is going to come through, cascade into the lower chakras, the mind, the emotional body, physical body, and now it's inviting you to step positively into that moving flow. But crucially, you're being animated, infused by this higher dimensional consciousness. So now you're going to start creating a landscape around you that includes more of that landscape, more of that possibility, more of that divine flow.
It's like you've arrived, and it's all moving around you, and it's like you're juggling balls of possibility, and then suddenly boof, 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 they land, and your path is through that crystallization.
You're going to create abundantly. You're going to create resources to support your step, and possibly money as well. But it's not about that. It's not about the resources themselves.
Slowly but surely, the signals intensify and join up, and you start to realize, well, as you look back, that all of that stuff led me to this experience of self. And then how remarkable that is. that you can't put a price on it. It's invaluable.
It's about having the support to carry your movement and your expression in whatever form that comes. So letting go of attachment to how resources or how you're supported, letting go of attachment to that is also crucial. That's what trust is all about. And this is how we can build trust within the 5D being. It's trusting that the direction will take you in a way to express your fullness of who you are, the authenticity of who you are, and then shape the landscape around that. Now, it's not about some cozy, woolly, fluffy kind of existence that's disconnected from everything. No, not at all. Because that cascading inflow of consciousness is going to create circumstances in this lower realm. It's going to shape relationships. It's going to shape how you live and work. It's going to shape general living circumstances. So it's not about, just disconnected from life in some higher dimensional way. No, it's the full infusion of that consciousness here and now. So really, to put it simply, it's about softening, letting go, opening up, trusting in that perception, movement, feeling that you're picking up, and having the courage to step forwards with trust that somehow it's going to work itself out, and it will. The divine will come to support you. The clouds and the shadows of the 4D that are being swept across the planet right now, you'll open through those, the light will break through, and you'll find where every step across the stream of life in the flow is being supported and carried. This is the sense of the 5D being. This is what I encourage all to explore and open up to the possibility of, because it is a majestic, beautiful, tremendous alchemical way of living. I wish you well with that.
Isn't that priceless though? When you live from that,